who is our starting catcher this year? Who's our main guy, Scott? And you and I had a little bit of a text chain going back and forth, and I was kind of surprised by your answer because I think of our three catchers, this is a dated outlook, right? Because I know Gabriel
Mhm.
Moreno's not with us anymore. But of those three guys, Kirk was the one I was the lowest on. I still am the lowest on him. I was kind of surprised that you also think he's a little bit lower down in terms of his ability to play every day. Like, I don't know.
So this is what happened. Adam texted me and he was like, "How many games a week do you think Kirk is going to catch?" And we'd love to hear from you too. Feel free to drop your comments in the comment section here. How many times will we see Kirk behind the plate in a week? So I said probably two. That was my answer. I said, you're going to see Danny four times. You're probably going to see Kirk two.
Now,
However,
sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was just this is the all the speculation we're about to do is based on Danny Jansen being healthy, right?
Yes. Yes, obviously.
Okay. No, so
By the
Danny
way, I
Jansen has
love
missed a bunch of time, so that is definitely something to consider. I know we were texting with Joel this morning, and he was going on again about Danny Jansen's ability to stay on the field and whether or not he should get a Sean Murphy comparable contract. I love Danny Jansen, friend of the show. We've had him on. We're going to have him on again, but uh, the injury history is a little bit concerning, is it not?
yes. It is concerning, and I would like to see him play a full season in 2023 before they go ahead and make a extension offer. However, I'm super high on Danny Jansen. I think anyone who watches the program knows we both love Jano.
Hmm.
Kirk, I am huge on his bat. I love Kirk as a hitter. And so I kind of had envisioned him four times in the DH role, maybe a day off, and then two times behind the plate, catching for Manoah, and then one of the other five starters. However, as we were texting back and forth, I said to you, hey, can you look up what his offensive production is like, Alejandro Kirk, behind the plate in comparison to designated hitter? And right away, I was like, watch him be a way better hitter when he's catching, and then I'm going to need to change my position on this. Well, why don't you give us the numbers here, Adam?
All right. So, yeah, like you said, we kind of anticipated that his numbers would be higher as a DH because he doesn't have the exhaustion level of also squatting behind the plate. But these numbers are a little counterintuitive here. So, career numbers as a catcher and as a DH, uh, better as a catcher. So he hits 288 career as a catcher, only 260 as a DH.
30
Slugging per
points is substantial on your
it is
batting average,
substantial.
too.
Yes.
So he is
Uh,
more dialed in when he's behind the plate for sure. Go ahead. Sorry.
slugging percentage also substantially better, about 25 points better. So 441 as a catcher, 416 as a hit as a DH, which leads to an OPS of 60 points better as a catcher, 813 as a catcher, 757 as a DH.
Which is really interesting. And it's funny because there are lots of dudes out there like that. They are just more dialed in when they're also playing defensively. There's just no downtime, right? No time to let your brain wander, no time to lose that intensity. So, especially as a young player, I guess this isn't surprising, although it did take me aback when I heard these stats because I had envisioned Kirk taking the majority of his at bats at DH. But I think that what we're going to see is probably a pretty even split. We're probably going to see Jano three times a week and then Kirk three times a week. And then, maybe Varsho gets one every couple weeks in there, just keep him. I don't think Varsho's going to get a lot of time behind the plate, but you wish him to get a little bit. You wish him to be a little familiar with Blue Jays pitching just so that if there is an injury, you have a guy who can step in and take the reins. So I think we are going to see Varsho a little bit there. So I'm curious what all of you think. Like, where is this time going to be split up? How are they going to divvy up the behind the plate work? And how much time do you see Varsho getting? So again, we're kind of, where are you, Adam? Are you kind of on that 50-50 fence now too after seeing those splits?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still leaning, I think, Danny Jansen more than Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I had to guess, I mean, we're gonna roughly say 6 games a week, right? I'm thinking
Yes.
probably 3 or 4 as Danny Jansen and 2 or 3 as
I do
Alejandro
wish to
Kirk.
really quickly bring up here that Danny Jansen, yes, he probably calls a better game. Kirk, defensively, his numbers last year were better than Jansen.
There you go.
And sometimes people are down on Kirk's defense, but he's a pretty darn good defensive catcher. My concern with Kirk behind the plate for, let's say, 4 or 5 games a week, there's been nothing in the past to show he can do that he can sustain that sort of workload. It's a pretty big year for this Blue Jays team. I think 2023, they need to go deep into the playoffs, or there's going to be some big time questions to answer, especially for this front office. So I think they're going to roll more with a 50-50 idea. So we'll see what happens. Brandon Belt's interesting, though. It is going to allow Kirk to take a few more days off. And maybe this is why his DH numbers are a little lower, is that
Mm,
he wasn't getting any time off last year by the end, especially, right? They needed his bat in the lineup every single game. There
that's a great
weren't
point.
options. So having Brandon Belt to be able to put in there and give Kirk a day off a week, I think is
A
is
proper
huge.
day off.
A proper day off is huge.
Great point.